Dark Souls is somewhat of an acquired taste. Now, I played the original Dark Souls when I was at university, and back in those days, which is only a few years ago, it wasn't very well known compared to it is today. Since then we've had games like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2 and 3, and we've also had people go back to the original Demon Souls for PS3. But for some reason I think Dark Souls has always had this weird middle ground where a lot of people know about it but don't jump into the experience because they know it's going to be pretty difficult. Now, due to the popularity of Dark Souls 3 and a lot of people are brand new jumping into the franchise, I thought today would be a perfect time to have a look at the original Dark Souls for the Xbox 360, though it was also released for PS3 and PC. And although I don't think it's the most difficult game franchise ever, I think for mainstream games, now with the popularity on its side, a lot of people will be diving into this game, and I thought this is probably the best time to have a look at it. So, let's prepare to die. The trend of all the games in the Souls universe seems to be the universal trait of these games are hard, right? But as a fan of the series, I can attest to there being so much more to it. Like most people, when I tried this game out, I picked my class, got destroyed by the Asylum Demon in the tutorial, and eked my way past every enemy I faced. It took me several hours to figure out just how the AI fought and strategized, and then after a while it clicked, and I got past the difficulty barrier. Or well, at least until these guys. Your goal in the game is to relink the First Flame, an ancient source of power that keeps the world full of light and prosperity. Yet due to it being in a cycle with darkness, many gods, men, and other heroes have tried their best to sustain a permanent state of the fire through various methods. Our antagonist Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder, has been burning alive for thousands of years in a desperate attempt to sustain the Age of Fire, and it's up to us, the chosen undead, to link our own soul to the flame or extinguish it once and for all and decide the fate of the cursed undead. If one thing comes to mind when trying to quantify this series, the best term I can think to use is enthralling. It takes a while to get into, but damn, when you settle into this world of high fantasy, grim storytelling, grandiose monsters, death, determination and despair, there's little you can do from pressing forward one step at a time. Probably the most unique thing that Dark Souls has over its contemporaries in the series is its fluid Metroidvania level design. When you start your journey at Firelink Shrine, the hub of the world, every locale you explore is linked together from here on out. The world is teeming with secret avenues of exploration, each rewarding the player with weapons, armor, spells to keep the player engaged and wanting more. Areas of the game mesh together with blocked or locked passages which players will slowly unlock to create shortcuts throughout their journey, and in many ways this makes the world feel memorable. Marked with the foes you have slain and hurdles overcome, these shortcuts relinquish faster means of achieving your goal with persistence and understanding of the world around you. As an undead, you start the game pretty weak with meager provisions and only basic weaponry to see you through the game. However, as you acquire souls, you are enabled to increase your skills, improve your armor, and even fashion your own weapons from the souls of defeated leaders of the undead horde. The game has a fantastic way of rewarding and empowering the player, whilst also balancing progress with adversities. Considering the majority of the experience usually can be boiled down to kill enemies to get stronger to kill more enemies, you never tend to feel like it's a chore because every encounter to a degree requires focus and skill. And believe me, if you've never played Dark Souls before, you'll need every slight advantage you can get in order to pass each of the boss fights that stand in your way, and they're easily the best part of the game. Every boss is memorable, not only for their design but also their attack patterns, meaning to the story and dedication to understand in order to progress. Some are as tall as buildings, some breathe fire, some duplicate, some have special exploits to make it easier to fight, some can be parried, and some are just bullshit to fight. Now, in order to progress to get to the First Flame, our hero must first ring 2 bells of awakening. The first one is simple enough: get through the beginning stages of the world to get to a chapel wherein the bell is guarded by some gargoyles. When alone on this small quest, the player meets multiple characters which flesh out the world and can even lend a hand in battle should you be in human form to summon them, including the best bro of all Dark Souls, Solaire. Then after ringing the first bell, the next one is a lot tougher to get to, as players must navigate a sewer containing this horrible thing.
Mummy, I'm scared!
And the now legendary poison-filled standard of annoyance to all Dark Souls fans, Blighttown. Then with the next bell rung, we find some sort of weird serpent thingy that tells us to go to the land of gods, to pick up a glorified bowl in order to access the First Flame. I should mention as well that Dark Souls doesn't have a quest log or anything of the type. Every side mission for an NPC in need, every objective of the game, and every secret to uncover relies on the player's capacity to move forward and remember each and every task given to them, and honestly it's a neat way of letting the player take responsibility for their actions. None of this, "Navi, where do I go?" bullshit. You either pay attention or go consult Google. You filthy cheat. Now getting to Lordran isn't easy either, as remember, Dark Souls doesn't owe you any favours. You need to pass through the danger-centric Sen's Fortress full of swinging blades, boulders, mimic chests, spike trap pitfalls, serpent monsters and Titanite demons just to move forward. Then when you get to the top, you need to fight a giant golem of about 10 times the size of the player. He's an intimidating bastard, isn't he? Okay, let's see if there's someone to summon nearby.
You're simply the best.
Oh, thank you, Tarkus. I'll see you later, buddy. Oh, and by the way, this is a recurring theme. Considering the series as a whole, no other game in the Soulsborne series is as bleak as the original Dark Souls. I recently even played Dark Souls 3, and that game is jovial in comparison. No, that's right, fluffy words. Whereas in Dark Souls, if you help people on their quests, they die. Want to help Tarkus get past the giant? Dies. Want to tell Laurentius where to learn new pyromancies? Dies. Want to learn all the spells from Big Hat Logan? Dies.
It's so bloody sad.
Anyway, as you progress and kill the boss guarding the Lord Vessel, or should I say bosses, this lady gives us the goods. And might I say, she's a sight for sore eyes in this bleak world. Wow. What a lovely pair of eyes she has. Eh? 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 Then we go back to this ugly bastard and we place the Lord Vessel in front of the door to the first flame. Then we're tasked with killing the toughest lords of all, the Witch of Izalith, Great Lord Nito, Seath the Scaleless and the 4 Kings of Londor. I'd also like to mention that if you ignore Frampt here and instead go straight to the 4 Kings boss fight, you can also start a questline with another shifty serpent thing to snuff out the first flame and become a Lord of Darkness. Tasty. Now we know the drill, we can go kill all the bosses. They're pretty tough, with Seath even being so much of a dick as to fight you in an unkillable form to start with. And even the Witch of Izalith doesn't fight fair due to collapsing the bloody floor from under you. Then, as we put all of our souls into the Lord Vessel and open up the gates to the final boss of the game, we enter the kiln of the first flame. Now this is a fantastic way to end the story. There's a lot to be said about it, but if you'd like to see an entire video based on this area alone, I'd advise checking out Jordan Underneath's video of Levels I Love, as he explains everything great about this finale better than I could. Then as we prepare for battle and enter the fog, we see the magnificent flame for all its glory. A tiny bonfire guarded by a burned, dishevelled old god. All throughout my initial playthrough of the game, I expected a grand flame and a bombastic finale. We see all he's influenced and defeated all of his powerful and yet lesser allies, and we end up here. Combined with the music, this boss fight encapsulates all that Dark Souls to me is about. Desperation. You tirelessly throw yourself into battle every step of the game in hopes of saving the world. You die, you struggle, and repeat. The further you play into the game, you realise just how frail the world and its inhabitants around you are, and in one final battle, you topple its mightiest hero and deity, a burned, frail, hollow god, and then must decide the world's fate. It's an ambiguous ending to a masterpiece of a game, and although canonically the flame is rekindled and the chosen undead burns to preserve it in vain, as the events of Dark Souls 2 and 3 show, we must all ask ourselves, does the goal of victory outweigh the challenge and struggle it takes to reach it? So there we have it. Dark Souls for the Xbox 360. Now I still think this is the most difficult of all the series, and bear in mind I've not played Bloodborne because I don't have a PS4, but honestly, I don't think any of the other Dark Souls games, or even Demon Souls, can match up to how difficult the original one is. I think due to the nature of this being the clunkiest version compared to the other Dark Souls games at least, with turn 3 bringing in new spells, new weapons, new items to make things a bit easier, like Dark Souls 2 with the life gems and Dark Souls 3 with some of the weapons and spells, I still think this one also has some of the most difficult boss fights and a lot of the platforming. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was nice being able to go back to pretty much every Souls game apart from Dark Souls 2 because I've already played enough of that on this channel. And actually going from the basis of the series with Demon Souls, then to the first Souls, and then to Dark Souls 3 really gave me a nice overarching kind of experience of how far the series has come. And seeing as Dark Souls 3 is probably the last in the game series, maybe there'll be something similar to a spin-off type game like Bloodborne, or even Bloodborne 2. But for now, I must say this is definitely a series that has very few low points and pretty much everything is exceptional. So if you've never played a Souls game before, if you don't want to start with the first game, then start with Dark Souls 3 because that's probably the easiest to get into with combat. But if you want to experience what I consider the definitive article when it comes to Dark Souls, get the first one, it's well worth your time. But either way, thanks so much for watching this video guys, hope you guys enjoyed Souls Month, and I will see you guys later.